तनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परम ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सच्चिदानंदरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमहं प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणे महाविष्णवे ब्रह्मणे सनकादिमुनिभ्यो नारदाय वेदव्यासाय शुकब्रह्मर्षये सूतमहामुने शौनकादि ऋषिभ्यो अत्र्यादि ऋषिभ्यो प्रह्लादादिभक्तजनेभ्यो मत्स्यादवतारेभ्यो नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्ति दत्तात्रेय ग्रीवादिगुरुभ्यो नमः। आदित्यादिनागरदेवताभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री दुर्गा लक्ष्मी सरस्वती सर्वपुण्ये नमः। माता पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। आद्य शंकराचार्यवर्याद गुरुभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वा अन्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ एकविंशोऽध्यायः। श्री भगवानुवाच। From 18th mantra, let us chant. ओम यतो यतो निवर्तेत विमुच्येत ततस्ततः एष धर्मो नृणां क्षेमः शोकमोहभयावहः। विषयेषु गुणाध्यासात् पुंसः सङ्गस्ततो भवेत् सङ्गात् तत्र भवेत् कामः कामात् एव कलिर्नृणां कलेर्दुर्विषहः क्रोधः तमस्तमनुवर्तते तमसाग्रस्यते पुंसः चेतना व्यापिनी द्रुतं तया विरहितः साधो जन्तुः शून्याय कल्पते ततोऽस्य स्वार्थविभ्रंशः मूर्छितस्य मृतस्य च विषयाभिनिवेशेन नात्मानं वेदना परं वृक्षजीविकया जीवन् व्यर्थं भस्त्रेव यः श्वसन् फलश्रुतिरियं नॄणां न श्रेयो रोचनं परं श्रेयो विवक्षया प्रोक्तं यथा भैषज्यरोचनम्। उत्पत्त्यैव हि कामेषु प्राणेषु स्वजनेषु च आसक्तमनसो मर्त्याः आत्मनोऽनर्थहेतुषु न तान् विदुषः स्वार्थं भ्राम्यतो पृजिनाध्वनि कथं युञ्जात पुनस्तेषु तान् स्तमो विशतो बुधः। एवं व्यवसितं केचितो अविज्ञाय कुबुद्धयः फलश्रुतिं कुसुमितां न वेदज्ञा वदन्ति कामिनः कृपणाः लुब्धाः पुष्पेषु फलबुद्धयः। अग्निमुग्धा धूमतान्ताः संलोकं न विदन्ति ते न ते माम् अङ्गजानन्ति हृदि स्थं य इदं यतः उक्थशस्त्रा हि असुतृपः यथा निहारचक्षुषः ते मे मतमविज्ञाय परोक्षं विषयात्मगाः। हिंसायां यदि रागः स्यात् यज्ञ एव न चोदना हिंसा विहारा ह्यालब्धैः पशुभिः स्वसुखेच्छया यजन्ते देवता यज्ञैः पितृभूतपतेन् खलाः। स्वप्नोपमम् अमुं लोकम् असन्तं श्रवणप्रियम् आशिषो हृदि संकल्प्य त्यजन्त्यर्थान् यथा वणिका रजः सत्त्वतमो निष्ठा रजसत्त्वतमोजुषः उवासते हि इन्द्रमुख्यान् देवादेन्न तथैव माम इष्ट्वेह देवता यज्ञैः गत्वा रंस्यामहे दिवे तस्यान्त इह भूयास्म महाशाला महाकुलाः एवं पुष्पितया वाचा व्याक्षिप्तमनसां नृणां मानिनां चातिस्तब्धानां मद्वार्तापि न रोचते वेदा ब्रह्मात्मविषयाः त्रिकाण्डविषयाः इमे परोक्षवादा ऋषयः परोक्षं मम च प्रियं शब्दब्रह्मसुदुर्बोधं प्राणेन्द्रियमनोमयम् अनन्तपारं गम्भीरं दुर्विगाह्यं समुद्रवत् मयोपबृंहितं भूम्ना ब्रह्मणानन्तशक्तिना भूतेषु घोषरूपेण विशेषूर्णेव लक्ष्यते यथोर्णनाभिर्हृदयात् ऊर्णामुद्वमते मुखात् आकाशात् घोषवान् प्राणः मनसा स्पर्शरूपिणा छन्दोमयो अमृतमयः सहस्रपदवीं प्रभुः ओङ्कारात् व्यञ्जितस्पर्श स्वरोष्मान्तस्थभूषिताम विचित्रभाषा वितताम छन्दोभिश्चतुरुत्तरैः अनन्तपारां बृहतीम सृजत्याक्षिपते स्वयं गायत्रुष्णिग् अनुष्टुप् च बृहती पङ्क्तिरेव च त्रिष्टुप् जगत्यतिछन्दः ह्यत्यष्ट्यति जगद्विराट् किं हि दत्ते किमाचष्टे किमनोद्य विकल्पयेत् इति अस्या हृदयं लोके नान्यो मद्वेद कश्चन मां विदत्तेऽभिदत्ते माम विकल्प्यापोह्यते त्वहम् एतावान् सर्ववेदार्थः शब्द आस्थाय मां भिदां मायामात्रमनूद्यान्ते प्रतिषिध्य प्रसीदति इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायाम् एकादशस्कन्धे एकविंशोऽध्यायः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम श्री भागवत शरणं मम श्री सद्गुरु शरणं मम श्री सोता शरणं मम श्री शुकदेव शरणं मम श्री व्यास शरणं मम श्री नारद शरणं मम श्री कुमार शरणं मम श्री ब्रह्मा शरणं मम श्री विष्णु शरणं मम श्री परब्रह्म शरणं मम श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम शरणं मम शरणं मम श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव ओम मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातम् अहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं स्वर्गे सत्ये च कैलासे वैकुण्ठे नास्त्ययं रसः अतः पिबन्तु सद्भाग्याः मामुञ्चदकर्हिचिद ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमः श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादशस्कन्धः मुक्तिः हित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः अथ एकविंशोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच Salute the Lord in all forms, in all avatars, in the form of all the rishis, munis, and gurus, especially the Bhagavata acharyas and the rishi parampara to which we belong, and in this life, the guru and the parampara from whom we are getting guidance. Wishing everyone the wishes, prayers for wonderful sadhana in this new year, Yuga Adi, Shubhakrut Nama Samvatsara. As the name goes, Shubhakruta, it will definitely do good to us if we become little tuned to all the Shubha that is around there and within us. Many a time the situations themselves are unconducive, inconvenient for us to be good. But this 1 year seems to be good for those who want to be good. Good in their working, in their pursuits, in their all nature, etc. Maybe all that way become little more deeper in our recognizing presence and greatness of Lord, thus become deeper in our devotion. So too may we become little more deeper in our experience of meditation seed by becoming more deeper in understanding about absolute truth. So too let us become more deeper in our Viveka Vairagyadi with analysis and knowing that the world continues to be like this only all the time. Anytime you can come back to world, we can be in the world, we can be bound by the world. It is always there. But to be able to withdraw from it, Kaschidhiraha Pratyagatmanamaikshata Avrutta Chakshu Amrutattamichan, that is the real challenge. Maybe in this new year, take up that challenge and succeed in that. Having said so, we are now in 21st chapter of 11th Mukti Skandha. Bhagavan Krishna is teaching to Uddhava, and wonderful each of the chapter. Special things in each chapter are there in their own unique way. In the chapter 21 also, when Uddhavji asked about the Gunadosha Vyavastha, Bhagavan answered little bit in the earlier chapter. In this chapter also, in the first 14-15 slokas, he explained to us. Here, the essence of all that is the Gunadosha Vidhana is for the Karma Niyantrana. Thereafter, guiding us toward the absolute good called as Shreyas. The topic ended. Now, how the people get trapped into this samsara, Bhagavan systematically tells. In the first portion of 4 slokas, our own contribution in our own falling. How do we? And then how we take others' help also to fall. See, very interesting thing. We fall by putting ourselves in trap by our own guna adhyasa, which we are going to see. Then we get trapped or misguided by others by listening and getting influenced by their pushpita vani, the flowery language of them, in which they talk about the sukha bhoga of the jagat, which they themselves are illusorily and delusorily they are involving in. So thus we have two shatrus for us to take away, for us to take us away from Paramatma. One Shatru is our own self. And when we are not available to ourselves, we take the help of others and we destroy ourselves. Or we look out around for the people to destroy us and we fully take their help and go on falling down. Whenever we find nobody around us, what to do? Now let us help ourselves in destroying ourselves. That way we do it. It's very interesting that way topic. And there are facts, a blunt, bitter facts. Whether you like it or not, it is like that. And then while explaining only the problem, within that only Bhagavan teaches us the solution also. And having known problem and solution, it is again our seriousness, our sincerity, our genuineness, which makes us take the help, get out of the problems into the solution. But that inspiration to take the solution and apply them will not come overnight. For that, little God's grace, little Guru's Kripa, also our own intellection and then experiences in the world, all of that put together, little by little, they push us in changing our course of life from being worldly into spiritual. Though we study and we understand. And everybody will have to go through that. There's no excuse. Now, what are those important slokas? First, we saw this one. What is the facility given to us? Yato yato nivarteta vimuccheta tatastataha. From whatever we start doing the withdrawal, we get liberated from all that bondage. By saying this, Bhagavan is saying two things. One is from any type of involvement, how much ever destructive or devilish it may be, we can withdraw from. That is one thing Bhagavan is saying here. Second is what? Therefore, we must withdraw from everything. Then only we can focus on Bhagavan. Both the things are hiddenly said there, may not be openly. What is openly said is, from whatever you withdraw, you get liberated from all those bondages which you were caught up in when we were in that pravrutti. So exhaustively we discussed yesterday. And we have the choice also. And again, it is our choice whether we want to do the nivrutti or go into the pravrutti and get bound. So yato yato nivarteta vimucheta tatastata. Now from his side, Bhagavan says, Esha dharmaha nunam shreyaha. To reach to the shreyas for the human beings, this is the dharma. So now join these two things. Nivrutti is equal to shreyas is equal to dharma. Sorry, nivrutti dharma is equal to shreyas. Is it not? Now, what is the other dharma? The pravritti dharma. What is the pravritti dharma? Prayas. So, nivritti dharma is shreyas is equal to mukti. Pravritti dharma is prayas is equal to bandhanam. Both are in your hands. Bhagavan very clearly says, Esha dharmaha nunam shreyaha. Esha nunam shreyaha dharma means practice of this nivritti takes one toward the nivritti shreyo marga. And what is the shreyo marga? That we will pause and understand the actuality of everything, truth of everything, reality of everything, including whether the world is real, or the happenings in the world are real, are they so much important? Should I indulge in them? Should I that way get bound by them? Is there any requirement for that? How can I be independent? All these clarities will pakka come. That is called as Shreyas. One becomes qualified for that when one slowly does the nivrutti. Second line he says, Shoka Moha Bhaya Vaha. In conversely, what do we have to do? Therefore, only in the pravritti there is Shoka Moha Bhaya. The more we become nivritta, the moha goes away, the bhaya goes away, the shoka goes away. Moha is confusing. We are taking the rope as the snake. Then the bhaya is seeing that the snake, dar jana. With shokaha, really getting bitten by the snake which is not at all there and feeling as if the poison entered. This is an example. So feel the meaning of this shloka more deeply. See, Guru Vakya, Shastra Vakyas go on happening in us. When we go to satsang, we get bombarded by them continuously. And at whatever the point or thought or satsang or topic level, we become deeper, we become more intensely involved, then the clarity of the understanding of that along with it, how much important it is, clicks to us. Then you take it up for your sadhana. So here, how do we feel? How should we feel for this shloka? We should not suffer in shoka moha bhaya. Shoka moha bhaya comes to me because of I follow the preyo marga. And in the preyo marga, shoka moha comes because it is a pravritti marga. Therefore, we want to get rid of shoka moha bhaya and enter into the atyantika shreya. The only way is to withdraw from the preyo marga. That is possible only when I withdraw from the activity or when I become Nivrutta Margi. Feel that inside. Is it not? No, from every Nivrutti. And then add to this the help from the Mandukya Upanishad if you are listening. How beautifully it was said to us. The outer world and also the inner world of thoughts, emotions, all are just abhasa only. They are not real. If you add that also to this, it becomes quicker and easier for us to come out from the pravritti marga of prayas into the nivritti marga of shreyas. So when I withdraw from the world through nivritti, ayo, I will miss that, I will miss that, that type things come now. For that the answer is what? It's all delusory only, need not worry. Not real they are. Like today I have missed the serial or today I missed to see the movie. No, what is there to be worried about? They are not real only. You understand? We feel so much we miss. So to everything. Today I missed to talk to this person, this person. Array of delusion, nothing real. That helps. The Mandukya Upanishad's analysis of where the world is existing in its own absence. In only the movement of the chitta, in the spandana of the chitta, only the world is there as an abhasa without any reality of its own. If this knowledge becomes very strong, then easier for us to enter into Shreya Marga of Nivrutti from the Preya Marga and Bandhana of the Pravritti. So this is how this one shloka, when one contemplates, so much of essence we get it, which is so essential. And this is how every time, little by little, we gather the essence and slowly add to our more intense spiritual practices. Add inspiration, add information, add initiative, whatever you call. This is how everyone grows. To some extent, he will grow in the beginning by some sentimental, emotional practice, and little more they will be growing by listening to the Guru or the Anugraha of the Guru or Bhagwan. Later on, a true seeker for himself having complete clarity about what is bondage and what is liberation, he only consciously, deliberately takes this path of Shreyas and he walks towards in that he reaches our house. And in between, he knows where to take the help of the Guru, where to take the help of the God. सब उसको पक्का होगा. He is a very matured person. This all study of Shastra gives that maturity to us in due course. We should never give it up. Okay, now from here started yesterday we saw all the topic we have seen. Where do we do the mistake? First one. And as we saw in our Vivek Chudamani example everywhere, when by from our hand, first place we do mistake. And if you don't rectify it at that level, then the problem becomes aggravated more and more. Like prevention is better than cure, as you say medically, or a stitch in time saves nine, as we say. If you don't rectify at the first level of mistake, then when you keep on allowing it, the mistake becomes more and more, and we suffer. Like the 4 5 runas are said in the world, or Shesha. If little bit also remains, then it troubles you. Agni Shesha. If little fire you leave without quenching, that slowly gathers fuel around out there and it becomes a configuration. So too the Runa Shesha. You cleared all debts but little is left, then again the through compound interest and all, it will grow. So too the Shatru Shesha. One enemy left, he will slowly gather strength by gathering others, he will attack and destroy us. So Roga Shesha, even disease also little left, then it gets relapsed. So Shatru Shesha, Runa Shesha, Roga Shesha, all these should not be there. In the same way, one mistake we little do and don't correct it at that level, it slowly gathers momentum. If one can arrest at that level, he is helping himself. And at every other level also there are solutions, but they become more and more complicated. At later level of problem becoming as crisis, you can't solve it, you have to go through it. The other example of Vivek Chudamani is slipping the ball from our hands when we are in the 10th floor. Slipped. You were not properly catching it or holding it. Slip ho gaya. Then through the steps it comes and it will stop only when it falls on the ground. Finally, niche. So to our jivana falls to a grossest to lowest level of samsari dukhi if we are not aware at every level. Now, these are all facts, statements of facts coming from the mouth of the Lord Krishna for his most dearest disciple Uddhava toward the end of his own, Bhagavan's own Leela avatar. There cannot be better teachings than this. And this was same in Gita also. Now, quickly we tell the points, then how much we feel about them, how much we understand them, how much importance we give to them, and are we committed therefore to protect ourselves by following these sadhanas? ये अपने अपने हाथ में. First point is what? Vishayeshu guna adhyasa. First mistake is what? Doing the adhyasa means superimposition of the guna, the qualities on the vishayas, the perceived objects. From the Mandukyadi level, there is no vishaya at all in this world. Everything is Parabrahma only. Not knowing Parabrahma, somehow through Maya, the world is created. Okay, you are seeing them. But the world only a projection of Maya, therefore it is unreal. When itself is unreal, how can there be gunas in that? But this thinking, when it is gone or not there, then we not only perceive the Vishaya, then we start doing adhyasa of gunas on that. What is adhyasa? Atasmin tadbuddhihi. Shruti Purupa Paratra Purarupa Abhiniveshaha. That is said in Bhashyakaras, Bhashya in Brahma Sutras. Sambandha Bhashya, Adhyasa Bhashya. Shruti Rupa Paratra Purarupa. He says some sentence. What is Adhyasa? Atasmin Tadbuddhihi. Means what? Those gunas are not there, but you superimpose. That's called Adhyasa. So the gunas, after seeing which, The gunas, after seeing which we get attracted, are not there in the object, we only impose them. That is what adhyasa. And what are the three gunas we impose on the objects of the world? One, it is real. Second, it is permanent. Third, it will give us sukha. Real is satyatva buddhi. Permanent is nityatva buddhi. Third one is sukha buddhi. We have to become intelligent here. What is intelligence here? You imagine it is real, it is not so, and it can never be permanent. Third was more important, sukha buddhi in that world, in that object. We have to be careful there. Ki, if it is giving sukha, it should give it to everyone. It is not giving, and to me also, it should give it all the time. It's not giving. Therefore, what I am doing in my own weakness, I am imposing sukha buddhi on that, then running behind it. Why am I imposing sukha buddhi on that? Because I am feeling that I don't have sukha and I want sukha. Why do I am feeling that I don't have sukha? Because the dukkha or the sukharahitya is nothing but the expression of incompleteness. Why I am feeling that incompleteness? Because I am identifying with the incomplete or limited upadhis. You understand? The Santa Upadhi Tadatmya leading to the incompleteness, leading to the desire to become complete, then therefore we are wanting this or that. ये पूरा जितने बार हम चिंतन करें ना उतना हो जाए ना ये जो मिसकंसेप्शन मिस नोशंस है इन सबको साफ कर देगा दिस ओनली मेडिसिन सो फर्स्ट मिस्टेक इज अंडरस्टूड गुण विषयेषु गुण अध्यास therefore what is the care we have to take from now onwards any Vishaya which we are looking at, just be neutral about it. Don't label it as good or anything. If possible, see only Bhagavan in them. So too, already the Vishayas towards which we have attachment and we want to get out of the attachment, do the same thing. You did the Gunadhyasa, therefore we got attached to them. Start seeing the dosha. That's what dosha drishti. Definitely it will help us to come out of it. Just like we superimpose the guna, we can superimpose dosha, or some doshas are there in everything. What are the three doshas? Whatever you have done adhyasa, it's not permanent, it's not real, and it is not the cause of sukha. If you see the dosha drishti, then we can withdraw from. Interesting? This is how we help ourselves. Protect every moment. This struggle goes on every moment for a sadhaka. A non-sadhaka, a samsari, like it was said, Nashayanaha patatyataha, earlier mantra 17. For him, all these calculations are not required. He just looks at the object, imposes sukha buddhi in that and gets desire for it, puts effort and gets it. And as he imagines, he gets the sukha. It may not be as it is, but thoda to mil gaya, he becomes happy. Then he goes on repeating it or he goes for something and it becomes a habit to him. They're all samsaris. But as you and I are becoming sadhaka, this exercise eternally we have to do. Every time, wherever we are getting second thought about the person or thing, immediately we have to nip at the bud level, observing that my mind is doing guna adhyasa. In that, there's all the danger of getting attachment or desire. And once that level comes, it becomes more difficult to come out. And the problem is never with the objects of the world, because the objects and people of the world anyway will go away from us. Very easy it is. But the thoughts in our mind, in which we have created that importance and value and desire, it won't go for the whole life. इतना मुश्किल हो जाता है, इतना मुश्किल हो जाता है. अब कितना भी दिमाग लगाओ, सोचो, इनफैक्ट यू डू दोष बुद्धि as much as you are able to do, still the ifing and butting is still there. And in that hallucination and imagination, we are there that no, that person is not favoring today. Tomorrow, a day after, he may favor. And Deva Bhagavan, please make that person favorable to me so that we will have again a good relation and all. There's no murkhata more than this. We have to remove from our own mind that gunatva in that so that you are free. And who can do that? Only the one who is convinced about spiritual sadhana. That's why all boils down to this only, that having sufficiently listened Shastra from Sadguru, when we are fully convinced about the ultimate goal, then only we can stop all this nonsense of gunatva, guna adhyasa. इट इज एवरीवन सेम, इसमें कोई रिजर्वेशन नहीं है, कोई रिकमेंडेशन नहीं है. जो किया वो आगे बढ़ा, जो नहीं किया सड़क, ही इज जस्ट फॉलन. Okay, then what happens? Vishesha Gunadhyasat, Bhagavan said, Pumsah Sangaha Tatah Bhavet. What is the Sangha? Sangha is repeatedly remembering that thing or being or experience. When repeatedly remembered, then it gathers a special status in our mind. Sangat Tatra Bhavet Kamaha. You start getting rasa, taste because of that Sangha. Then we want to repeat that Sangha or the taste, that's called as Kamana. संग से टेस्ट आया, टेस्ट को रिपीट करना चाहते हैं, इसलिए उसके प्रति कामना हो जाता है. एनीथिंग इट इज, संगास तत्र भवेत कामः. नाउ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थॉट हियर, which is in different way said in here than Gita, and we need to little study also. He says, Kamat eva kalihi nrunam. For the human being, the kali is there because of kama only. What is kali? The inner and outer kali. Kali actually meaning is, first to understand kalaha. Kalahat kalihi. Kalaha means the fighting, etc. What is the inner kali or kalaha? Two types of kalaha are also inside. One is what? It is fulfilled and we want more and more, more and more, more and more. And that restlessness in wanting more and more is one kalaha. Second kalaha is what? One side the buddhi is indicating to us some other dignity, some other higher goal. The other side, the mind is going on putting the proposal for the kamana. Then between these two, always there is kalaha, endless struggle. मन चाहता है वो चाहिए, अब बुद्धि कहते नहीं है ना. बुद्धि keeps on saying that person insulted you, why are you going? Mind against you, never mind, good. These इनके बीच में इतना कलह होता है कि they never together. And wherever the mind and intellect this way fight with each other and get disintegrated, that spirit personality's life is so miserable. This is inner kali, inner kalaha. Is it not happening to us every day? The intellect says get up an hour early. The mind says thoda aur so jao. Because सोने का मजा है, तो desire. And everybody in the night thinks about it. But the सुबह का जो उठने के बाद अलार्म लगने के बाद ना, that 1 hour or half an hour or whatever, 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, 2 minutes, the mind becomes so powerful that it tells the buddhi, you just shut up, we will see later on, पहले सोने दो. Is it not? If that buddhi is more stronger in the desire for meditation than the mind's desire for sleep, I'll see just करके उठेगा, जाएगा, नहाएगा, then you just sit for meditation, japa. After 5 minutes, you can see the mind is no more demanding or complaining. This is how the technique for this example I said. So in so many other things, wrong habits we have, wrong indulgences we have, adharmic desires we have. We know that they are wrong, and yet the conflict in us, many a times the mind only wins. Then after winning and making us fall, then the mind surrender to the buddhi. कहते हाँ मैंने गलती किया. Then buddhi says हाँ किया है, now समझ गए ना, अगले बार नहीं करना. Mind says also okay नहीं करूँगा. Again when the thing is in front of it, again the mind becomes stronger. This is how kalaha is going on in all of us. And the internal, this battle, mainly for the one who wants to become seeker and reach to the Lord in the initial stages where he started sadhana, where is filled with so much of desires of the world, vasana of the world, is inexplicable and unimaginable. At that stage of immaturities and aparibhakvata, his struggle is so much, so much, so much, so much. And again, through that ardent prayers to Guru and doing this vicharana of the dosha drushti, etc., slowly from one after the other, he comes out. Even then, there are 2-3 things which you hold on. The nidra and some bhoga and all of them. See, to do sadhana, you have to be identified with the body. When you are identified with the body to do sadhana, means you have to have the body. Immediately, the strong demands of the body from millions of the life, called as bhojanam, called as the other bhoga, it again comes. That time it becomes so struggle to him, and with the help of the God, Guru, Upasana and all, one can slowly reduce it. While reducing all that, when he intensifies his meditation in all those things, then slowly he can conquer. This is how it happens. So this internal Kali. Then what is the outer Kali? We always are in loggerheads or kalaha with anything or being who is obstructing the fulfillment of our desire. That kalaha bhavana creates such a krodha in us. That's what Bhagavan says after the kalaha. What is that? Kalehe durvishaha krodha. सहन नहीं किए जा सकने वाला क्रोध उस कलह के द्वारा उत्पन्न होगा कलह के बाद. Now remember, it's only one thought. First, it is the Vishaya pe upar guna adhyasa. The guna adhyasa alone takes shape of the Sangha. The Sangha itself takes shape of the Kamana. The Kamana only takes shape of the Kalaha. Kalaha only takes shape of the Krodha. Same thing but getting on modified. Like that butterfly, from larva, pupa and all it grows. This is how it happens. And once the Durvishaha Krodha comes, the uncontrollable anger, it leads to what? Tamaha tam anuvartate. Tamaha here is called moha there in Gita. The delusion is followed by the krodha. He forgets what is he forgets what is around, he forgets what is the dignity, what is the wisdom. All that is forgotten because of that tamas. That's what he says. Tamasa grasyate pumsaha chetana. The Chetana means the awareness. Chetana means the wisdom, the dignity, the knowledge, the maturity. ये सारा जो है वो चेतना जो व्यापिनी है वो जनरली बहुत अच्छा हमारे पास otherwise, but at that time dhruta means instantaneously that chetana is being eaten away by that tamas. Tamasa grasyate chetana. That wisdom, taking whose reference we were deciding what is to be done, what not to be done. Like a drunkard. Once he is gone into that delusion after drinking, he doesn't see who is their wife or father or mother, or he will shout at anyone. Because dimag काम नहीं कर रहा उसको. That happens to drunkard once in a while, but for you and I, who have through the kamana as first step or the Vishaya Adhyasa from the first step, have fallen to the level of krodha, our mind is so blocked, you can't think later on. आप इमेजिन करो आप ना कितने लोगों के प्रति आपके मन में क्रोध है. Once the krodha is there, either we hate that person or always we try to avoid that person, or we want to take revenge to that person or do some harm. This only works towards that person. And all the wisdom which you practice otherwise in other places, the wisdom we learn from Shastra that everywhere is Bhagavan, everybody in general is good, we should not have any dvesha to anyone. ये सारे जो फिलॉसफी हमने सीखा जो हर जगह अप्लाई भी करते हैं, इधर वो काम को नहीं आता. And how that person's mind at that time, I will love everyone, I will not hate anyone except this person. In both ways, I can give up desire of everything except this thing. We get caught up in that way. So too, I don't have anger or hatred towards anyone, but this thing or being, I cannot. Now, problem is what? It is not millions of the things towards which we have desire or anger. It is one is enough for to destroy the peace of mind or the wisdom in us. लोग जो है कत्ल करते हैं या आत्महत्या करते हैं, दसों चीजों के लोगों के लिए नहीं होता. Only one thing and one being. It becomes suicidal or criminal to them. Is it not? The desire for one, when you don't get, you commit the suicide. And the anger for one person only enough for you to become criminal, to kill that person or harm. Not 10 things. It is not number of things. It's only the intensity of the desire or anger which makes us do wrong things. And that intensity, if it is there for more things, we have destroyed ourselves doubly only. 2 बार 3 बार 4 बार 2 गुना 3 गुना 4 गुना. So after that way being caught up by the tamasa, the tamas will cover the chetana vyapini in us. That's how the people say, such a wise person, how did he do that mistake that time? He is wise before, he is wise after, but during the thing he was another wise person. Okay. Now, one of the things I'll tell you. Here it may be there or may not be there. It may come in the further topic. याद नहीं है कि क्या है ना, towards whatever we have desire or anger, will let us not frequent that place. Let us slowly avoid going there. Because when you are in front of that, That emotion which is there of both desire and anger becomes so powerful, overpowering, that you will not be able to conquer it. That's why the anger desire are like Vali. भगवान इसलिए उनको पेड़ के पीछे से मारते हैं, not आमने सामने. This is the only way. If you have anger to someone, you just go away from that person. Then slowly, the anger may be there, but it won't express at least. So to desire we offer an object. It won't go overnight, but keep on keeping away. At least the desire prompted negative action we don't do. That's what the Vratascharya or Tapascharya, all of them are for this only. काम क्रोधों को जीतने के लिए सारे व्रत होते हैं. उस समय हम उसकी तरफ जाते हैं, एक दृढ़ निश्चय लेते हैं. Now, as long as we have taken dृढ़ निश्चय and withdrawn ourselves from this kama and krodha, to that extent we are successful. We have to make it long, we have to make it permanent, we have to make it all pervading. That withdrawal from kama krodha. So this is one of the tips. Don't go that side, then you are safe. By the way, now next one he says here कि तमसा ग्रस्यते पुंसः चेतना व्यापिनी धृतम तया विरहितः. देखो, the person without that chetana, without the knowledge and discrimination on the basis of knowledge to decide what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what is sin and what is merit. If these are lost in him, taya virahita sadho jantu shunyaya kalvade. First of all, he will fall to the level of jantu, and shunyaya kalvade. He is as good as not there as a living being only. Living means what? A dignified human being. Shunyaya kalpate. He is a nothing a person. Because a person is a person depending on his achievements. A person's achievement depends on his performance. The performance depend upon decision depend on his wisdom. When the wisdom is lost, he is nothing only. That is a shunyaya kalpate. When the दिमाग काम नहीं करता, because वो ज्ञान इस तमस ने ग्रस लिया, मोह, the delusion. The delusion came because of anger or maybe lobha when the desire is fulfilled. और चाहिए और चाहिए और चाहिए वाला लोभ कहते हैं. किसने ऑब्स्ट्रक्ट किया, मैं इसको मार डालूंगा, काट डालूंगा, इसको कहते हैं क्रोध. So he says shunya only, shunya ay kalpate. Then second line he says tataha, thereafter asya swartha vibhramshaha. Then he totally falls from his real swartha. The swartha is his evolution. Here the swartha means the purushartha, the charama parama purushartha, the moksha purushartha. ततः अस्य स्वार्थ विभ्रंशः, and such person like मूर्छितस्य and मृतस्य च. That buddhinashat pranashyati, he says. Here equivalent to dead, equivalent to unconscious is that person who has lost sight of his total goal. Asya swartha vibhramshaha. Then adding to this, in the next sloka, Bhagavan says some more powerful thing. Vishayabhiniveshena na atmanam vedana param vruksha जीव्य कया जीवन व्यर्थम भस्त्रेव यह श्वसन. देखो, विषय अभिनिवेशेन. Very powerful thought it is. In the morning Mandukya Upanishad, 5-6 days we talked about this. Abhinivesha, Abhinivesha, Abhinivesha. And because of that, Avesha, Avesha, Avesha. And then we use these words. Avesha, Abhinivesha, and the third one is Agraha. Feel the meaning of those words. Here also, Vishaya Abhiniveshena. When one is fully overpowered by the desire for the Vishayas. Vishayas have overpowered his mind completely. Na Atmanam Veda, na Param Veda. He will neither know the Param, the ultimate supreme goal, na Atmanam, what he as an individual, as a dignified. दोनों चले जाते हैं जब विषय ओवरपावर करता है इस व्यक्ति को. His desire for the विषय. विषयाभिनिवेशन नात्मान वेद नापरम. That's why we have to be so disciplined and controlled when we are with Vishayas or Vishayas are around us. Else, with all our glories and dignities, otherwise we mix them and we will behave so foolishly. Now, अब पता चल रहा है कि why great people also sometimes in their life commit mistakes. At the time of committing mistake, their antakarana was abhiniveshita, overpowered by the desire for some or the other vishaya. It can be wealth, it can be power, it can be bhoga. कुछ ना कुछ है कामना जिसके प्रति है, वो अभिनिवेश किया तो ना आत्मान. You will not know what is he. He may be a saintly person, he may be a respected person in society, he may be a person of all contributions, he may be a person of all achievements. लेकिन उस समय विषय का अभिनिवेश हो गया, then he loses sight of his identity and dignity from within. It is recognized by the people afterwards when he commits mistake. After he commits mistake, people recognize it. But that's later. But more than that, within himself, he himself falls there. He forgets himself, his dignity. That's the power of the abhinivesha of the Vishaya on human mind. Therefore, how much we have to carefully guarding it. This is called as Maya and Moha. आप समझ लेना what is Moha Maya. The Maya creating the desire, bringing the object in front of us and creating desire for it. The Moha is the desire overpowers or covers all our dignity, all our wisdom, all our respectable identity. Na Atmanam Veda. And then na Param Veda. Param is two things. What are the great goals he has chosen in life? That also he forgets. Param is for you and me is he will never come inside with the ultimate goal also. No, we can become little free in our confidential sharing. Ki so many people in each of the field appear to be so promising at certain period of time. एंड वी ऑल इमेजिन देम, यार ये 5 साल में 10 साल में ऐसा बड़ा सा आइकन बनेगा, देन ही विल रियली गाइड अदर्स ऑल्सो. In that category of 100 people, you will see 2 or 3 only achieving it, remaining 95 somewhere in between only. Either they stop their progress or they start receding and they fall down also. Nobody does research of it because it is personal. But for ourselves, we are saying, if you can really observe in that person's life, what happened was some Vishaya Abhinivesha happened, therefore he has forgotten his opportunities, his talents, his ambitions, and then fallen down. So too, a spiritually evolving person also, once he is Abhiniveshita with the Vishayas, he will forget Paramatma at that time. All his meditation, study of Shastra, everything is covered by this Vishaya Abhiniveshata named Shatru. So Vishayabhiniveshena na Atmanam Veda na Aparam Veda. Na Param. Param means supreme. And you can add it also. Na Atmanam Veda is forgets himself to be the self. Na Aparam Veda means the thing in front also is nothing but expression of God. He forgets. वो भी भगवान है, मैं भी भगवान हूँ. This is the wisdom. But what happens? I become the bhokta, it becomes bhogya vastu. I am a person of wanting desire and that is a desirable thing. Therefore, with the desirability or kamana buddhi, I run behind that thing or whatever it may be. This is how each one is living life. Who are not highly evolved spiritually. How important is this shloka? Not of such person, Bhagavan, Krishna says the life is a vruksha jivikaya jivan. His life is like a vruksha only, not like a human being. What is vruksha? It is not consciously growing. It has only one thing. It only responds only to the atmosphere around. गर्मी लगा, पानी दिया, वो जमीन है नीचे, then it will work for it. It will work and grow. और नहीं मिला तो it just dies only silently. This Vruksha Jivika is used here, said in Kathopanishad by Nachiketa as Sasyamiva Martya Pachyate, Sasyamiva Ajayate. When this example of Vruksha Jivika is given, don't think the positive aspects of Vrukshata. What are you saying, Swami? Vruksha is good only, no? It gives firewood, it gives shadow, it gives fruits, it is... Not look that way. Here, Vruksha matlab kya hai? Is the first of the living creation is Vruksha. From the Vanaspati only, the next jati is Pashu jati, then Pakshi jati, then only human jati, or Pakshi, Pashi, and human. At that lowest level, his life will be. Added to that, he gives another example. Bhastreva Shvasano. Means what? His inhaling and exhaling is like only that pump, Bhastra. है ना, जो हवा भरते हैं ना, वो आग और भी अच्छी तरह जलने के लिए, ताकि वो कुकिंग हो जाए उसमें. फूंकते भी हो पाइप लगा के, दैट्स कॉल्ड भस्त्रा. और मोर एयर यू वांट, यू डू इट लाइक दिस. That is mostly done in these iron smiths, even goldsmiths place, because slowly, because the wind or reason, The fire tries to get quenched. Then they hold one end of it towards the fire, other end they go on pumping it. Then the air pumped will not allow the fire to get quieted. Is it not? They add other wood also or coal also, coal, then it gets caught. The bastras, another example is the cycle pump, हवा भरने के लिए. Is it not? It also does taking the air from outside and through the piping, it fills the air in the tire or tube, sorry. So in the same way, we are only as great as that bhastra, as useless as that, only inhaling and exhaling. वो inhale exhale कर रहा है लेकिन उसमें जिंदगी है क्या, जीवन है क्या, नहीं है. तो we our life also as good or as bad as non living only. Only what's happening in us is inhaling and exhaling like bhastra. So that person's life is like Vruksha, like the Bhastra only. The one who doesn't know the higher goal and who doesn't know his dignity and responsibility. Why these are lost? Because Vishaya Abhiniveshena. Now become very sensitive about this shloka and observe in ourselves more than the others. Sometimes you can observe in others also to learn from them how those people are abhiniveshita because of Vishaya and they are not knowing what great opportunity of evolution they have in their own fields respective and also spiritual field. So according to Lord, their life is like a tree or bastra only. Then focus on my own self. How my entire day is being spent. Am I working for the ultimate goal? Am I working to fulfill my responsibilities? Or day in and day out, I'm indulging only in Vishayas? If that is so, my life is like Vruksha. My life is like Bhastra. Most of the lifespan is spent like this only, including ours mainly. हमको तो अपना ही ख्याल रखना है ना. Why should we worry about others? That means what? A human who is meant for spiritual evolution just lives like a life of animal or plant only because of the Vishyavinimesha. This should be in connection with what was in an earlier chapter where Bhagavan has glorified the human's life, where he with discipline and all can reach out the ultimate. He said, no, if somebody having got the human life, not trying and reaching to liberation, he is like Atmahatya Sadrusha only, he said in the earlier chapter. याद है आपको? हृदयहम आद्यम सुलभम सुदुर्लभम प्लवम सुकल्पम गुरु कर्णधारम मया अनुकूलेन नभस्वता ईरितम पुमान भवाब्दिम न तरेत स आत्महा. ये सब मिलाकर पढ़ने वाले श्लोक, बिकॉज कृष्ण वाज सेइंग इन फ्लो टू उद्धव. Like in Gita, he was saying in flow to Arjuna, 18 chapters as Ekavakya we have to study. And what is one Ekavakya of Gita? From the Vishada to the Moksha. First chapter is Vishada, last is Moksha. Here also, what is said there, connection करके पूरा पढ़ लो. विषयाभिनिवेशेन न आत्मानं वेद न अपरं वेद. And his life is वृक्ष जीविकया जीवन. व्यर्थम जीवन. व्यर्थम only is living. He is not using that opportunity. भस्त्र इव यह श्वसन, मतलब एक भस्त्र के समान अंदर बाहर हवा लेते हुए एक जीवन मनुष्य का जो एवोल्यूशन के लिए है उसको केवल वृक्ष के लिए तरह जीकर वो व्यर्थ गवाया उसको. No, some bhajankars have written bhajans like this. ऐसे गवाया हमने पूरा जिंदगी प्रभु आपके नाम के बिना. It's anti-emotional, but that is not sufficient. It should be very highly intellectual. What are the possibilities in me? What are the probabilities in me? Probability is moksha. Possibility is trying to do sadhana as much as possible in this very life. Okay? Now a question comes. But generally I am not having that sankalpa desire, but the promptings are so much. Temptings are so much. Okay, if the prompting temptings are from the equal like-minded friends and etc., I can say no. But then the Shastra खुद में ही ये सारे चीजें हैं. And the people who appear to be little smart or intelligent, either by looking at them or listening to their words, I get tempted about the Vishaya Abhinivesha. Bhai kya karu? You have to be careful there also. Therefore, in continuation of this topic, but new topic Bhagavan is developing here. He is saying us to be very careful with yourself also outside. With yourself what? Your own mind with its own whims and fancies and emotions will do a wonderful talk of Pushpita Vak to you. और कोई नहीं है, तुम्हारे मन तुमसे बात करेगा. कि वहाँ जाएंगे, फिर वो खाएंगे, वो पिएंगे, फिर आनंद आएगा, फिर आकर हम सो जाएंगे. These are all which was said earlier as Gunadhyasa. The Pushpitavani, the mind talks. This Pushpitavani mind very rarely, very less it talks about the spirituality. I'll become more regular in studying. I'll make all my notes. I'll thoroughly do contemplation. I'll remove all cobwebs of misunderstandings and no understandings. I become so convinced about it. Then I'll deeply meditate and transcend beyond all the three deha, three kosha, three avastha. And ऐसा वाला पुष्पित वाक्य मन बोलता ही नहीं. I go to that temple, I go to this pilgrimage, that I'll also do tapasya like that Mahatma did, because of whom the Lord came and that place became Punya Kshetra. Is it not? वो compare करके मैं भी ऐसा बनता हूँ. Mind will not say. Mind will say, it compares with the samsaris and says, you also be happy like that. Let me be also happy like that. Is it interesting? This is called the Pushpitavani of the Mana to ourselves only. A flowery language of emotion and temptation and advertisement. In the same way, the worldly things and worldly people also who are not exposed to the higher goal, definitely at that level they might have got some pleasures in that Prayo Marga. Naturally, out of their love only they talk to you Pushpita. Not that they are cheating. But it is a cheating to us if we get carried away because they are talking from the lower level where they are standing. इसलिए किसी के इवन चेहरे के कारण भी कोई बात कबूल नहीं करना. We must have our own discrimination whether that person is talking the Pushpitavani to pull me down to the lower level or he is talking the higher. अपने आप को बचाना है. That topic is there in this 4-5 slokas. We will little touch it. Bhagavan says here कि फलश्रुतिरियं नृणाम न श्रेयः रोचनम परम श्रेयो विवक्षया प्रोक्तम यथा भैषज्य रोचनम. So नृणाम इयं फलश्रुति न श्रेयः. All the falashruti, all that sweet words that are talked about everything in this world. Whenever you do this, you will get that, you will get this. This is called falashruti. It is never shreyas only. So, falashruti iyam runam na shreyaha. It is not shreyas, the falashruti. It is only prayer marg only. But why is it telling us rochanam? To inspire us. Inspire us for what? Shreyo vivakshaya. Slowly to make us qualified for Shreyo marg. Like all it is said, Lalita Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama, when you do the Parayana, so much of Falashruti is said. But that Falashruti is not Shreyas. But why did it said from me, the me who was never exposed to the Vishnu or Lalita Sahasranama, to do the Rochana inspiration in me, the Falashruti told in the beginning, that Falashruti is not Shreyas. But for the Phala, when we start doing for some time, then slowly the same Shruti tells us, or somebody says, Beta, isi Vishnu Sahasranam say, instead of getting the phalas which were said in the Phala Shruti, you can get even moksha also. Then I was never doing Vishnu Sahasranama. In the beginning, I was tempted to do Vishnu Sahasranama for the sake of phala, which was mentioned there. Such me, once I become habituated to the Vishnu Sahasranama, then my goal will no more be phala. As said there, it's only for moksha. Like now when we go to temples or pujas, not like others who go, remove my this difficulty, that problem, get me that employment or this money or that sukha. ये नहीं होगा हमको अभी. We wherever we go now temple, वही एक ही संकल्प सनातन पुनरुत्थापनार्थम and swasya आत्मानुभव सिद्ध्यर्थम. बाकी सब, by the way, we may add, but our main conviction is this. Now, this state came to us because sometime we did same upasanas with the phalasakti. And to inspire us to take up that spiritual path of bhakti or upasana, Falashruti is told, but doesn't mean that it is Shreyas. Falashruti yam nunam na Shreyaha. Rochanam, param means, actually, param means, but also it is only Rochanam. Now, Shreyo Vivakshaya Proktam, actually what they want to say is ultimate Shreyas only, but before we are not yet qualified for that. I know we have to be tempted with something, then only we will start doing it. Therefore, Example given is beautiful here. Yata bhaishajya rochanam. Is it not? What mother or the doctor wants to give to a small child is medicine. But he will not take the medicine. Then you tempt him. I'll give you a candy. I'll give you a chocolate. If you take medicine, I'll give you chocolate. So here the goal is not giving chocolate, please. उससे दवाई खिला के दिमाग ठीक कर रहा है तबीयत. What don't we do? Everywhere. Even to your children, you say, you study well, get to 10 on 10 or 10 on 9, 9 on 9, whatever, I'll get you this new cycle. Or I'll get you this new bike for you. So your goal is not to give bike to that fellow, to make him study. But you give it anyway. In the same way, Shastras never aim at giving us prayers. But definitely in every Shastra, in the beginning, prayers is given. That Falashruti is for only Rochanartha Falashruti. Is it not? And thereafter, we will be guided toward the Shreyas only. इसलिए कोई भी शास्त्र को देखकर उसमें फलश्रुति में ये काम भोग इत्यादि के बारे में बताया. कंक्लूड मत करो therefore विष्णु सहस्रनाम इज ओनली फॉर हेल्थ, फॉर द वेल्थ, फॉर द लॉन्जेविटी, फॉर द नेम एंड फेम. इसी लेवल पे अटक मत जाना. इन द बिगिनिंग यू डू इट, but never insult those shastras concluding that they are for prayers. They are for, like Bhagavad Gita. The more amount of insult done to Bhagavad Gita to no other text is done. Why I to say like that? Remember, any purpose you use Gita for other than Paramatma Jnanam, it is belittling the Gita's value only, therefore it is insult. Is it not? Gita for management, Gita for this success, Gita for that success. People are lavishly using and Gita becoming useful also like that. But if one is staying only at that level, he is insulting Gita, because Gita is one of the prasthana traya. It is a moksha grantha. It is not has to bind us in this world. Now the next 2-3 श्लोक में जो लॉजिक भगवान देते हैं ना, इससे बढ़कर और कुछ नहीं. मजेदार श्लोक. I am so elated by seeing that, and I am sure you also feel very happy. So far what we have seen it, yes, you are right, the Falashruti is there in the Upasana and Yajnadi Kanda, but that is only for Rochanartha, that is only to Shreya Vivakshaya. The desire of Shastra is to guide us toward the Shreya Marga only, but we have never gone to that spirituality only. They were to pull us towards that. This is done. It is like giving candy to a child before he is given the medicine. He is giving a gift to the child to prompt him or tempt him for a study. Everywhere it is so. Like the incentives are given in various private companies for the people. They never want to give incentives. The purpose is what उसका इससे ज़्यादा गधेश की तरह काम करावे, लेकिन वो temptation देते. In the same way, Shastra's lakshya is not to misguide us in Prayo Marga. How do you say, how do you justify it? And these next 2 shlokas you will enjoy it. Let us read this. The mantra number 24 and 25. Very interesting. Bhagavan says in the shloka number 124, the fact. Second shloka he says is logic. What is it? Utpatya ivehi kameshu praneshu svajaneshu cha asakta manasamartya atmanah anartha hetushu. Listen carefully and in short and sweet way I will conclude it. Explain it. What is that? Utpatya evahi means by birth only. By birth only. Martyaha. Utpatya, by birth only, martyaha, the human beings are asakta manasaha. They are born with their minds attached to only. To what? Kameshu, praneshu, swajaneshu. Kameshu means all the objects of the world. Praneshu means all the bhoga of the world. Sajaneshu means toward the people. By birth only we come with the vasanas of attachment or desire for the kama, prana and swajana. Martyaha. And in general, they are all atmana anartha hetushuhu. If you hold on to them, then you will get anartha only, because for fulfilling them, we do sin. Even if you don't do the sin, having born as human being, we must grow spiritually. That we have not done, that also anartha. So the main point is what? खुद के अनर्थ के हेतु वाले काम प्राण स्वजन, इन तीनों को उत्पत्ति से ही ले आता है मनुष्य अटैचमेंट उनके तरफ. That means what? The moment a person is born in the human body, in the earth, he has got the desire for kamana, desire for prana, desire for swajana. Swajana is beings, then Kameshu is all the objects, Praneshu means for eating, drinking, etc. Here Kameshu means all the bhoga other than Bhojanam. So those bhogas only come and go, but bhojan is such a desire, it is a necessary desire, and every day 3 times, 4 times, 5 times we involve in only. By birth only, the mind is attached to that of every human being. This is a statement of fact. That is anartha hetu, it is an anushangika sentence added by the Lord. Now, having said this sentence, that by birth only everybody is attached to them. This is said by Katha Upanishad in this way. What he said? Ki, the entire indriyas are by the defect of the manufacturer, they are always extroverted. Then kaschid dhira pratyagatmanamaikshat avrutta chakshu amuratabjan. So paranchi khani vyathrunat swayambhu tasmat parang pashad antaratman. What is said is all indriyas are by birth or by nature are extroverted. Therefore, every human being will look at the world outside only through the senses. Among them, one is the Dhira Purusha who withdraws his attention from outer world into inside, desiring for the ultimate truth, Amrutattva. What is said there is also almost similarly said here, ki by nature a human being has desire for Kamana, the Vastus, as well as Prana, as well as what is the third one? That Swajana, people. This being so, now second line listen. Ki na taan avidushaha swartam bhramyataha urjinadhvani katam yunjat punah teshu taan tamo vishatah buddha. Dekho, these three things with which we come into human life are what is that? Vrujina adhvani will push us into the samsar. He is telling both. Every banda मनुष्य जो है अपना मन में कामनाएं लेकर आता है कामेशु प्राणेशु सजनेशु. Point one. Second is what? They are all anartha hetu. Third one is what? They are those paths are the paths for more and more samsara, and that leads to tamas also. This is one track of explanation. But here the point is justifying is what? When a human being left to himself will fall into the Vrujana samsara, fall into the tamasa because of the desires we came with. To that person who is already having desire and the path to fall down, to that person, why will the Shruti will tell him the same thing again? Is it the logic? Are you understanding? भगवान कृष्ण कह रहे स्वाभाविकता से हम सब कामी क्रोधी हैं. हम में फिर से कामना भरने के लिए श्रुति क्यों आएगा? You understand the logic? Therefore, all the Falashruti said by the Shrutis only for Rochana in the beginning, but the purpose of Shruti is only to put us in Shreya marg. ऑलरेडी जो कामी क्रोधी है उसको श्रुति थोड़ी बोलेगी बेटा तुम कामनाएं करो, ये काम करो, वो काम मिलेगा, वो सुख मिलेगा, भोग मिलेगा. इज ऑलरेडी. चोर को चोरी करो बोलते हैं क्या? अरे इज ऑलरेडी चोर यार. A criminal you can't tell बेटा क्राइम करो ना. What is my nature? ये तुम्हें तो वेन्न तो पीठिना विद्या it is said. So Bhagavan is questioning Uddhava and asking him to think. By nature we have the desire for things and beings by birth only. Do we need to study Shastra for that or what? No. Then will the Shastra tell that which already is us? It should be the other way around. If it is called as Shastra, it should tell us something opposite than this Vrujana or Samsara or Patana Marga. And that is in Shreyas only. So to tell Shreyas only Shastras came. But what about Falashruti, sir? I told you, the child example of giving that a sweet meat something to encourage him for taking the medicine. Rochanartha Falashruti. Like the Bhaisajya Rochanam ki tarah. Otherwise, why the way? See, means what? Bhagavan should take an avatar as Vedavyasa and write lakhs and shlokas in all Shruti Smriti Purana Itihasa and telling all human beings, beta desire karo or paap karo or khushi se bhogo. उनकी कोई जरूरत है क्या? We are all self-sufficient in this बेवकूफी by birth. So therefore, even though it looks to be there in the Shastra, but thoda दिमाग भी लगाओ. So that's why whenever you study, whether it's in Hanuman Chalisa karo, whether it's in Ganesha Atharva Shirsha Upanishad, whatever the Falashruti is said, that should never be our goal. Falashruti is Laukika Sukha Bhoga Falashruti. Our goal is through that means we have to reach God only. But in the beginning we are hesitant because our mind is filled with desire. Kehte chalo, instead of going in the Papa Marga or your own individual effort, you take the help of the Lord. Once you start taking the help of the Lord himself will tell us, beta, with the same effort you can reach the ultimate also. Then slowly the mind starts accepting it. Suddenly you can't change somebody's direction 180 degrees from that side to this one. है ना, 5वां जो गियर में जा रहा है बंदा, सडनली आप ब्रेक डालोगे मर जाओगे. You have to bring to 4, 3, 2 and slowly 1 and neutral. In the same way here, that break from this extrovertedness is brought out by slowly applying the brake or changing the gear from the higher to lower through giving us falashruti. So the two topics that are covered in this portion today we studied are, first one is how we follow by guna adhyasa on the vishayasa, then getting sangha, then making it a desire, then getting the kalaha, then having after kalaha, then we are having tamaha. Once the tamasa is grasta, then we lose sight of discrimination and we live like a animal only, like a rakshasa, commit sin and suffer. Such person's life is like bhastrika or like only a vruksha jivika. This is one topic covered. Second one, then what about the shastra which are telling ye karo to wo milega, wo karo to wo milega? They're all rochanartha falashruti. That's not the purpose, because we need not study shastras to get desires and kama krodha, because they are there very much in us without studying any one of them. So use that common sense and logic and understand that yes, इज नॉट डिनाइंग दैट शास्त्र में ये अर्थ काम की बातें नहीं होते हैं, लेकिन वो लक्ष्य नहीं है. शास्त्र का लक्ष्य ओनली टू शो अस द श्रेयो मार्ग. ओनली two paths are there, श्रेयो मार्ग. They start at one point only, appear to be parallelly going toward the end they meet. One marga is of bhakti of total surrender, another marga of jnana of knowing the truth. Karma and Ashtanga keep on helping these two paths. So these are the two topics convert. Says Bhagavan Kariya na tan avidushaha swartam brahmyataha brujanaadvani. Already to that ignorant fellow who is doing brahmana because of desires in the samsara, katam yunjat punah teshu tan tamaha vishata buddha. A wise person of Rishi cadre and also the Rishi written Shastra, how will it put that person to do same thing which is already doing? It's a waste of its effort, no? That's why even a guru of higher cadre, any disciples come to him or any bhaktas asking to give some upaya for gaining some or the other thing of the world, while giving that upaya, he will definitely say, but my dear child, this is not the ultimate goal. This should not be the ultimate goal. Ultimate goal is Bhagavan only. Only that person who is telling that Paramatma is Paramalaksha alone is the right person of giving right advice. If anybody, how much or eloquently speaking with all the abilities and language and grammar and speed and all quotations, but in that only Falashruti is there about the Laukika Bhogas and Parlauka Bhoga, he is only a guru, he is not a Sat Guru. He is only an advisor and guide, not for the ultimate. There you can discriminate between a matured Mahatma and yet to matured Mahatma. So to that person study. वो फलश्रुति वाले शास्त्र पढ़ा और वही बता रहा है. Now don't blame him. You have to be careful. उसको उससे खाना मिल रहा है. Isn't all these people, the astrologers, etc., they cannot talk about Brahma Jnana. They'll talk only about do this Gra Shanti, that Dosha Shanti, so that you will don't have any other problems. And extra wala ye bhi Anushthan Puja karo, so you will get good job, good money. They will tell that, and that is true at that level. That is what they studied. And such jnanis or shastragnas are meant for people of that type. That tamasha in the world of this also goes on. But I have to pause and see what I should ultimately seek and to get inspiration in that, whom I must listen. See, today, what with the Shubhakrut Samvatsara, throughout the day, though we spoke 4-5 times, did we any time say only thing that Shubhakrut bring you only Sukha Bhoga? Every time we are saying that in the Shubhakuru Samvatsara, more and more sadhanas it is convenient to do. Let us do sadhana and reach little more distance toward the God. This is the ultimate correct advice. Otherwise, you get this and that thing of the world, it goes away again also. देखो जगत में सुख मिलना मिलते ही जाना समस्या नहीं है. समस्या क्या है ना, परमात्मा को मिस कर रहे. You know, when this clicks to us, what is that clicking? I am a करोड़पति. I have lot of respect, name and fame, power, position, सब कुछ है. लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी मैं भगवान को मिस कर रहा हूं. The one who gets this thought, he has got the jackpot. The other one who says, never mind, I can postpone spirituality or God next to life. In this life, though, I am now a prime minister or chief minister or a karodpati or a big person and many people appreciate me. Now I am the hero for so many people. This is very good. Alas, he is not a very fortunate person. He is caught up in the Maya. You know, that Hindi cinema dialogue, I tell you, sorry. Don't misunderstand me. One hero says कि मेरे पास धन है, दौलत है, ये है, वो है, सब कुछ है. The other fellow says मेरे पास माँ है. You know, you understand it? Why I gave that example? In the same way, you have everything, but do you have God? No, then you have nothing only. You are in delusion. That delusion में तुम हो अभी नहीं पता चलता. When those things go, because by nature they have to go away, or when you yourself become old, when you get addicted to that, when the prarabdha starts coming out, तब पता चलेगा कि कहाँ फंसे हैं. अब तब आपको वहां से बाहर आने के लिए टाइम नहीं होगा, because you already fallen so much. This is called Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. This sloka of Gita 66, 18th chapter, every day at least once it is coming to us as quotation in one or the other classes of the 6 classes. सब मिला लेकिन भगवान नहीं मिला ना, फिर कुछ नहीं मिला. Is it not? Highest is a common sense. If you are a person of hard work and gaining, why don't you work hard and gain the ultimate? Why do you limit the possibility? चैलेंज के रूप में ले लो ये. डोंट गेट कंपल्शन कि इज ए कंपल्शन ऑफ शास्त्र एंड गुरु. आवर सनातन शास्त्र नॉट कंपल्शन, ओनली कन्विक्शन. टेक चैलेंज. Like I am fulfilling desires of mind with all my efforts. That is one challenge at lower level. Why can't take the other challenge? Let me live life of desirelessness. Is it not? I'm using my mind to gain all the talents and all the arts of the world and entertaining the world and getting the money. That also great achievement. They are all called as various siddhis at that level. But why can't we think this also? We can transcend the mind and see what's beyond. Can we take it as challenge? Take spirituality as challenge, not as a burden or heaviness, as if somebody is compelling. It's not a compelling. Nobody can compel also. अब इस संसार में फंसते रहोगे, कौन रोकेगा तुमको? और बीवी बच्चे भी नहीं रोकेंगे, कुछ देर बाद छोड़ देंगे. जैसे मेरे पापा इतना दारू पीते, बोल बोल के हम थक गए. अब तुम क्या करो? मैंने भी शुरू किया. You understand? Nobody will stop us. किसी का कोई है ही नहीं जरूरत. हमको ही कुछ चैलेंज के रूप में लेना. Not that nobody compels us. Is it not? Like, nobody compels us to take up vrata and do upvas. It's a challenge. Nobody compels us to walk and climb the Vaishnav Devi and all. It's a challenge taken. Spirituality is a challenge we impose on ourselves to scale to little higher heights. Falling is not a challenge, Rising only is challenge. Taking up an indulgence not a challenge. It is natural. To be able to give up and rise is called challenge. Take it as challenge. By the way, so these are two crucial thoughts. They are explained. कि पागल थोड़ी है जो बंदा कामनाओं से पैदा हुआ है उसी के लिए जीता रहेगा और उसी में मरेगा संसार में. और उसको स्पेशली शास्त्र आके बताया, बेटा तुम ऐसे ही करते रहना. नालायक. Shastra is not for that. Only Falashruti is to inspire us. Remember that example. You don't give the candy, the child will not take medicine. So, in the beginning, the person's kamanas, if they are not fulfilled by Paramatma, then you will not listen to Paramatma when he says, "Beta, मैं ही तुम्हारा गोल हूँ, मेरे से और कुछ मत मांगना, मेरे पास आ जाना." Like everybody, a small child, somebody, you want to hold that child. But the fellow आपको चेहरा देख कर कहते मैं नहीं आऊंगा, but you give him a candy or chocolate, he will like it, then he comes to you, then you love. भगवान भी हमको कैंडी देते हैं, then he takes us to himself. Falashruti is only giving candy but not goal. In the school also, in the child, in the nursery level, they are given all ice cream, chocolate and place, ताकि वो लगातार जाते रहे स्कूल. उसके बाद में उसके शुरू होंगी परेशानियां, where you'll have to study A, B, C, D, I, E. This is the two topics we study today. Now, the next one, evam vyavasitam kechit avijnaya kubuddhayaha. The kubuddhis, the stupid buddhu log, not knowing that this is how the Shastra guides us. First, for the inspiration, it gives Falashruti for Rochana. Thereafter, the Lakshya of the Shastra is not praise but Shreyas. The one who doesn't know Falashrutim Kusmitam, now they will talk about Falashruti only, they give importance that only. Na Vedagnya Vadantihi. But those who have thoroughly studied Shastra, Veda, etc., they don't give value importance to the Falashruti at all. देखो, in all the Upanishads we studied, except in 3-4 places, everywhere the Falashruti is about Paramatma only. For that we are given the sadhana of Tyaga and Dhyana. In 1 or 2 places, Tasmad Atmagnyam hi Archayat Bhutikamaha. It's a very subtle way of conveying by the Shruti. Shruti says the Atmagnya becomes Sarvagnya, so he gets such a power that he can fulfill your desire. Therefore, you as a desirer, wanting to fulfill desire, do the Archana of the Atmagnyani. That is a sentence directly given in our Mundaka Upanishad. Tasmat Atmagnyam hi Archayat Bhutikama. ये तो श्रुति में ही बात है. What is the meaning of that? Atmagna can fulfill your desires means what? The position of being an Atmagnani is greater than seeking the other desires other than Atmagnana. So that Shruti want to convey to a matured student. अब आत्मज्ञानी मेरे डिजायर ही फुल करता है, मैं खुद ही आत्मज्ञानी बनूंगा ना. एक दिन वो थॉट आएगा उसमें. Is it not? When we go to a data and keep on taking food from him, one day a thought will come, why should I beggar to get from him? Let me work hard and let me also become data. That buddhi will function one day or the other. Uska inherently capacity hai. It may not work immediately, it may take time, but because of the company of that person or the Shastra, the thought will come one day. When I worship Atmagnani, all my desires are fulfilled. Why can't I become Atmagnani? Purpose is that. But Shruti mein Falashruti aisa dikhta hai. That's what in Gita 2nd chapter, Shruti vipratipanna yete yada sthasya nischala tada yogamavasati. Samadha vachala buddhi means by listening to various Shrutis where Falashruti was talking so much, in which you do this yajna karma, that upasana karma, and you get to this loka and that loka. And along with that, when you listen about the other aspect of Shruti which talk about the moksha, in दोनों का आप तर्जन भर्जन डिस्कशन करते करते finally when you come to the natija, that is only Falashruti, but it will bind, but ultimate is this one. Then you become so vairagi toward the things of world that you become meditator. In that meditation, you reach to that samadhi. That is called sthita prajna. Lot of gaps are there in between. If I take it all, it will take 20 minutes. But the quotation I gave, therefore, little I explained from Gita. 2nd chapter, what Bhagavan spoke in those 49, 50, 51, 52 slokas. Before Sthita Prajna slokas start, he says, यदा ते मोह कलिलं बुद्धि व्यतितरिष्यति तदा गन्तासि निर्वेदं श्रोतव्यस्य श्रुतव्यस्य श्रुति विप्रतिपन्ना ते यदास्तास्ति निश्चला समाध वचला बुद्धि तदा योगमाप्स्यसि. Then you will reach me final. Then what is the position of the Sthita Prajna? When Arjuna asks, Bhagavan says. But this whole topic there also started after or around that Karmanyavadikaraste shloka. Maybe uske baad hi. Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipaschitaha vedavadarata partha na anyadastiti vadinah kamatmanah swargaparaha janma karma falapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया अपहृत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते. त्रैगुण्य विषया वेदाः निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्त्वस्थः निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान् यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः. These are all slokas. 46 तक है ये, 43 to 46 second chapter are so crucial shlokas. See here, Bhagavan taught about Brahma Jnanam in chapter 2. I'm just touching little. Ugadi Gita को भी पढ़ो थोड़ा अच्छा है. So in that Nainam Chintanti Shastrani, all that is said. Then to become qualified for that, Bhagavan said, you do your dharma. And now the dharma is as a Kshatriya, you have to fight war. Then obviously, like here to the Uddhava, Arjuna also may get it out. But in Shastras, all these things are told about. You get the Swarga, you get those Bhogas, this Luka. Thus, Bhagavan said, Pushpitam Vacham Parvadin Abhipashchitaha. Those who speak about the Falashruti, about the indulgences, they are not the Medhavi or Shastrajna fully. Abhipashchit hai wo log, Vipashchit nahi hai. Vedavadara tha, they talk the quotation of Veda only, they say, Veda mein bataya ye phal, wo phal. And उनके बारे में भगवान कहते हैं काम आत्मा न स्वर्ग परा जन्म करो क्रिया भोगेश्वर तया. It's a beautiful topic. One wonderful thought in the sequence, Bhagavan says, yeah, as we quoted it many places, ki the purposes which are fulfilled for you with the water from the well, all of these purposes are fulfilled in the water of the river, and there are some things which are not fulfilled in the river. Well, you can fulfill them also there also. In the same way, through the Falashruti involvement, when we indulge in the objects of the world for some sukha, all of this ananda is there in Brahmananda, and that which is there in the Brahma Ananda is not there in the ananda of the Falashruti Yukta Karma. Yavan Artha Udapane, Sarvata Samlutodake, then Tavan Sarvesh Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanata. In all the Vedas, whatever karma kanda is given, by which whatever the result get, which is promised and which is sure also, all of that is there for the person who has experienced Brahma Tattva. Plus, the Brahma Tattva experience करने वाले को जो freedom है, जो individuality नहीं है, universal oneness, infinitude, permanency है, all of that are not there for these people who quote the Vedas and do only Ajna karma and get those follow. These all topics so essential because पूरा समझने के बावजूद भी हमको लगता है कि मैं ही मिस कर रहा हूं. ये नहीं मिस करोगे आप, इससे ज्यादा ही वहां मिलेगा. Then again we say, but why should Shruti? Shruti should have said only one thing. You only talk about Mukti Jnanam. Why have you talked about Falashruti? And there are some Shastras which exclusively talk about that. Study only them. But in general, a thought is given just because somewhere it is said that you can get this or that sukha by this or that karma or yajna. Don't think that that's the purpose of Shastra. Shastra kabhi bhi प्रयोग मार्ग को अल्टीमेट नहीं कहता है. Shastra's lakshya is only to teach us Shreyo Marga. Okay, this much is enough for the day. Tomorrow we'll see the beautiful shlokas. Oh, the entire chapter is so sublime. Next 4-5 shlokas ऐसे भगवान जो है ना छड़ी लेकर हंटर लेकर हमको इसे मारते हैं सीधे हो जाने के लिए. हमको ये इंटेलेक्चुअल हिटिंग टू अस. द श्लोकास कि कामिना कृपणा उब्धा पुष्पेषु फलबुदया अग्निमुग्धा धूमतांता समलोकन विदन्ते नते मामंग जानन्ति ऋतमेलं यतः उक्तशस्त्र असुत्रुपः यथा निहार चक्षुषः. These are high level PhD level shlokas there are. But I'll try to explain. You are there to listen. Okay. Thank you. Sarvam Krishna Arpanam Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishite Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Bol Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai, Sadgunath Maharaj ki Jai. As I said in the message, today being Yugadi or Ugadi, we will chant Narayana Kavacham. Let us do that. It is in the Shashta Skandha, 6th Skandha, 8th chapter. Bhagavat Purana, 6th Skandha, 8th chapter is Narayana Kavacham. Today being Yugadi, we will pray to Narayana to be as Kavacha for us to protect from all our inner and outer enemy. And the same Narayana, we invoke him to be Kavacha for the entire universe also, to protect it from any of the negativities, even at the universal level, cosmic level. Because so big is the country and the whole Bhugola and whole the solar system, the cosmos, every one of them are evolving. Like at my own individual level, for my own evolution, my own inner and outer negativities are obstructions. So too this cosmic evolution may, there are very powerful negative forces are there. How they are there, why they are there is a big unanswerable question. but they are also becoming hindrance for the universal cosmic evolution. So we will pray to Narayana to become a kavacha there also, to protect from the inner and outer enemies, so that entire consciousness level in the entire universe goes on growing. It's a very high level of discussion what I said. Anyway, सिंपल वर्ड्स में क्या है, मेरे लिए भी सबके लिए भी भगवान के कवच कृपा से सारे दुष्ट शक्तियों से हमको बचाव हो जाए. फ्रॉम टुडे टिल वी आर रीचिंग द गॉड. एक ही बार पढ़ेंगे इसको, डेली पढ़ोगे तो बहुत अच्छा. This has got around shlokas numbering 42. So it will take 5 to 6 minutes. Give me that time. Then we take up our Valmiki Ramayana. Then we chant from Adhyatma Ramayana our Sri Rama Hrudayam. That's all the talk today. Om Sri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuranam Shashta Skandha Tashtamo Shri Vishwarupa Datta Sri Narayana Kauchamindraya. Om राजोवाच यया गुप्तः सहस्राक्षः सवाहान् रिपुसैनिकान् क्रीडन्निव विनिर्जित्य त्रिलोक्याबुभुजे श्रियं भगवन् तन्ममाख्याहि वर्म नारायणात्मकं यथा तथायिनः शत्रून् येन गुप्तो अजयन्मृधे. श्रीशुक उवाच वृतः पुरोहितः त्वाष्ट्रः महेन्द्राय अनुपृच्छते नारायणाख्यं वर्माः तदिहैकमनाः शृणो. विश्वरूप उवाच धौताङ्घ्रिपाणिराचम्य सपवित्र उदङ्मुखः कृतस्वाङ्गकरन्यासः मन्त्राभ्यां वाग् यतः शुचिः नारायणमयं वर्म सन्नह्येद्भय आगते पादयोर्जानुनोरूर्वोः उदरे हृद्यथोरसि मुखे शिरस्यानुपूर्व्यादोङ्कारादीनि विन्यसेत्. ॐ नमो नारायणायेति विपर्ययमथापि वा करन्यासं ततः कुर्यात् द्वादशाक्षरविद्यया प्रणमादियकारान्तमङ्गुल्यङ्गुष्ठपर्वसो न्यसेद् हृदय ओङ्कारं विकारमनुमूर्धने. शकारं तु भ्रुवोर्मध्ये णकारं शिखया दिशेत्. वेकारं नेत्रयोर्युञ्जान्नकारं सर्वसन्दिशो मकारमस्त्रमुद्दिश्य मन्त्रमूर्तिर्भवेत् बुधः स विसर्गं फडन्तं तत् सर्वदिक्षु विनिर्दिशेत्. ॐ विष्णवे नमः इति आत्मानं परं ध्यायेत्. ध्येयं षट्शक्तिभिर्युतं विद्या तेजस्तपो मूर्तिम् इमं मन्त्रमुदाहरेत्. ॐ हरिर्विदध्यान् मम सर्वरक्षां न्यस्ताङ्घ्रिपद्मः पतगेन्द्रपृष्ठे धरारिचर्मासि गदेषु चाप पाशान् ददानोष्टगुणोष्टबाहुः जलेषु मां रक्षतु मत्स्य मूर्तिः यादो गणेभ्यो वरुणस्य पाशात् स्थलेषु मायावटुवामनो व्यात् त्रिविक्रमः खेवतु विश्वरूपः दुर्गेष्वटव्याजिमुखादिषु प्रभुः पायान् नृसिंहो असुरयूथपारिः विमुञ्चतो यस्य महाट्टहासं दिशो विनेदुर्न्यपतंश्च गर्भाः रक्षत्वसौ माध्वनियज्ञकल्पः स्वदंश्रयोन्नीतधरो वराहः रामो त्रिकूटेष्वथ विप्रवासे स लक्ष्मणो भरताग्रजोऽस्मान् मामुग्रधर्मादखिलात् प्रमादात् नारायणः पातु नरश्चहासात् दत्तस्त्वयोगादथ योगनाथः पायात् गुणेशः कपिलः कर्मबन्धात् सनत्कुमारोऽवतु कामदेवात् हयशीर्षा मां पथि देवहेळनात् देवर्षिवर्यः पुरुषार्चनान्तरात् कूर्मो हरिर्मां निर्यादशेषात् धन्वन्तरिर्भगवान् पात्वपथ्यात् द्वन्द्वात् भयादुर्शुभो निर्जितात्मा यज्ञश्च लोकादवतात् जनान्तात् बलो गणात् क्रोधवशात् अहीन्द्रः द्वैपायनो भगवान् अप्रमोदात् बुद्धस्तु पाखण्डगणात् प्रमादात् कल्किः कलेः कालमलात् प्रपातु धर्मावनायोरुकृतावतारः मां केशवो गदया प्रातरव्यात् गोविन्द आसङ्गवमात्तवेणुः नारायणः प्राह्ण उदात्तशक्तिः मध्यं दिने विष्णुररीन्द्रपाणिः देवोपराह्णे मधोग्रदन्वा सायं त्रिधामावतु माधवो मां दोषे हृषिकेश उतार्धरात्रे निशीथ एकोवतु पद्मनाभः श्रीवत्सधामा पररात्र ईशः प्रत्यूष ईशोऽसि धरो जनार्दनः दामोदरो व्याधुनुसन्ध्यं प्रभाते विश्वेश्वरो भगवान् कालमूर्तिः चक्रं युगान्तानलतिग्मनेमि भ्रमत्समन्तात् भगवत्प्रयुक्तं दन्दग्धिदन्दग्धिरिसैन्यमाशु कक्षं यथा वातसको हुताशः गदेश निस्पर्शन विस्फुलिङ्गे निष्पिण्ड्यजित प्रियासि कूष्माण्डवैनायक यक्षरक्षो भूतग्रहान्श्चूर्णय चूर्णयारीन् त्वं यातु धानप्रमथ प्रेतमातृ पिशाच विप्रग्रह घोर दृष्टीन् धरेन्द्र विद्रावय कृष्णपूरितः भीमस्वनोरेन् हृदयानि कंपयन् त्वन्तिग्मधाराशिवरारि सैन्यम् ईश प्रयुक्तो मम छिन्दि छिन्दि चक्षुंषि चर्मन् शतचन्द्रछादया द्विषामघो नाम हरपापचक्षुषां यन्नो वयं ग्रहेभ्यो भूत्केतुभ्यो नृभ्य मनुष्येभ्य एव च सरीसृपेभ्यो दंष्ट्रिभ्यः भूतेभ्यो महोभ्य एव वा सर्वाण्येतानि भगवन्नामरूपास्त्रकीर्तनात् प्रयान्तु संशयं सद्यः येन श्रेयः प्रतीपकाः गरुडो भगवान् स्तोत्रस्थो भश्चन्दो मय प्रभुः रक्षत्वशेषकृच्छ्रेभ्यः विश्वक्सेनः स्वनामभिः सर्वापद्यो हरेर्नामरूपयानायुधानिनः बुद्धीन्द्रियमनप्राणान् पान्तु पार्षदभूषणाः यथा हि भगवानेव वस्तुतः सतसच्चयतु सत्येनानेन न सर्वे यान्तु नाशमुपद्रवाः यथैकात्म्यानुभावानां विकल्परहितः स्वयं भूषणायुधलिङ्गाख्या दत्ते शक्तिः स्वमाया तेनैव सत्यमानेन सर्वज्ञो भगवान् हरिः पातु सर्वैः स्वरूपैर्नः सदा सर्वत्र सर्वगः विदिक्षु दिक्षूर्ध्वमदस्समन्तात् अन्तर्बहिर्भगवान् नारसिंहः प्रहापयन् लोकवयं स्वनेन स्वतेजसाग्रस्तसमस्ततेजाः भगवन्निदमाख्यातं वर्वनारायणात्मकं विजयस्य सेञ्जसा येन दंशितो असुरयूथपान् एतद्धारयमाणस्तु यं यं पश्यति चक्षुषा पदा वा संस्पृशेत् तत्सद्यः साध्वसात् समुच्यते न कुतश्चित् भयं तस्य विद्यां धारयतो भवेत् राजदस्युग्रहादिभ्यः व्याघ्रादिभ्यश्च करहिचित् इमां विद्यां पुरा कश्चित् कौशिको धारयन् द्विजः योगधारणया स्वाङ्गं जहो समरुधन्वने तस्योपरि विमानेन गन्धर्वपत्रे कदा ययौ चित्ररथस्त्रिभिर्वृतो यत्र द्विजक्षयः गगनान्यपतत् सद्यः स विमानो हि अवाक्षिराः स बालकिलवचनात् स्तिन्यादाय विस्मितः प्रास्य प्राचे सरस्वत्यां स्नात्वा धाम सुमन्वगात् श्रीशुकौवाच य इदं शृणुयात् काले यो धारयति चाद्रुतः तं नमस्यन्ति भूतानि मुच्यते सर्वतो भयात् एतां विद्यामधिगतो विश्वरूपात् शतक्रतुः त्रैलोक्यलक्ष्मीं बुभुजे विनिर्जित्य मृधे सुरान् इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां षष्ठस्कन्धे श्रीनारायणकवचो नाम अष्टमोऽध्यायः सर्वं श्रीनारायणचरणारविन्दार्पणमस्तु शान्तिः 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 धन्यवाद. Now we will do our Valmiki Ramayana.